Hi, this is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 96. And we're live today from the beautiful state of Utah, the United States. A beautiful, almost fall day. And I want to welcome you. Today we're going to be talking about transitioning from singing exercises to singing songs. This is a question that I get. It's very high on my list of one of the most asked questions. And so we're going to be talking about that today. If you have any difficulty at all transitioning from exercises to the songs, then today is the day to watch this broadcast. So I want to welcome you and just check in and see if anybody is here yet. I want to make sure that you can hear me and see me okay. So the question is, have you ever struggled singing a song? In other words, you're doing the exercises just great. The exercises are going along just perfectly, but then when you start to sing the song, it goes south real quick. All of a sudden your voice starts cracking, and all of a sudden you start feeling like, oh my gosh, I know I'm pulling and reaching too high, and the larynx is coming up, and so, but yet the exercises were so fantastic. What is happening? Why is this happening to me? So we're going to talk about that today and how to solve those problems, big problems, because that's what it's all about, right? We want to sing. Hey, Joe, nice to have you with me today. Thanks for joining. Can you hear and see me okay? Just want to double check. This is our pre-show show. We'll start in the next minute or so here to talk to the masses of the world. So, nice to have you here, Joe, and I hope this is going to be of benefit to you. Let me know, Joe. Let me know in the comment section below if you ever had trouble singing songs? Question mark. Can you do the songs, but or you can do the exercises, but the songs are really a problem? Yes or no? Let me know. Yeah, the exercises are going okay, but the songs, when I start singing the songs, everything falls apart. Does that happen to you? Let me know in the comments section below. Because it's happened to me. It happened to me. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Hi, this is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 96, and welcome to broadcast 96. Can you believe it? We're far away from the magic 100. Today we're going to talk about transitioning from singing exercises to actually singing songs, which is where this is where all the action is. So while we do all these exercises. I mean, can you imagine being on a soccer team and doing workouts day after day, and then you get to the game and you can't play it at all? That's what it feels like sometimes, doesn't it? When we're singing, we're doing the exercises, things are going great, the voice is settling down, no cracks or breaks, you can go high, do all kinds of things, and then you get to the song and it just like falls apart. Well, has that ever happened to you? Let me know in the comments below. Yes or no, it's happened to me. I've done exercises brilliantly, and then I do the song and I just crash and burn big time. Yes or no? Maybe it's never happened to you. It's happened to me. I'll share this story with you. This is back in 2011, not that far ago. In the beginning of the year, I thought I'm going to start my year right. I went to go see Seth Riggs. Stayed with a friend in San Diego, drove up to LA on a morning of Monday, and so I had a great lesson. I took an hour lesson with Seth, and the first 30 minutes, I was feeling great, riding high. He was challenging me with difficult exercises, and he said, "Well, I'm trying to trip you up here, Chuck, but I can't seem to do it." And we just had a great time and great discussion, and so then we started singing songs, and. Let me tell you, I'll tell you exactly. This borders on embarrassment. But I sang this song, and admittedly it's a very challenging song. It's called Love Changes Everything from Seasons of Love or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a hard song. It has a B flat in it, I think, high B flat. And so I kind of wanted to show Seth that I could sing high and all that. Anyway, we started doing the song, and I could tell it wasn't going well, and I could tell the words were, I was kind of splatting some things, and it just, anyway, we got done with the song, and here's what he said, quote unquote. Well, I don't know who's letting you do that. Now, it was the best thing in the world for me. I needed that. Not that I really needed. I mean, I wasn't looking for it, but I I really committed myself after that lesson to work and to get so that I could get through these songs. And and as a result, I set myself up for some major progress in the coming months with my voice. But it wasn't the thing that you want to do. You know, I didn't want to. I wanted to have an experience where he said, "Hey, you know, your exercise is great. You're singing fantastic." I gave him my book, Singing for the Stars, for him to sign, and he said, "Great work on your scale work. Good job on your scale work. Be careful of application. It'll knock you out of your fine, scale work." So that was what my idol mentor teacher wrote in the front of my book, and now I'm glad it's there, because I want you to know that I have had situations like that where I've started to go south on me, and went very south in a lesson with my teacher. And so I know exactly what you're struggling with. So let me say hi to some of you guys here. Said hi to Joe, great to have you here. Hey Norin, I'm going to see you later this week, and I'm excited about that. Joe says, yes, I've been cracking a lot lately. Meredith, Elizabeth, hi. Hola. And annoying, not annoying. Auto incorrect, okay. Horizon, hi Chuck, hope you do awesome, thank you. Lau Ki Topi, hello, actually I'm a beginner. I am doing exercises for 2 months. Still can't sing and song. Okay, well, we'll talk more about that. Joe says, yes, this has happened to her. Thank you, Joe. Nice to know I'm not the only one here. And Lau, of course, just said that he's having struggles. Punit Kumar, hey, nice to have you here today, Punit. Meredith Elizabeth says, my singing is equal to my confidence at that moment, and confidence about what I'm singing. Struggling. Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? How confidence seems to, I mean, you can go into a song, you go into the song at pretty well a level of confidence. And you, because there's a place in that song or two where is coming up, and you're either feeling great about it and can't wait to get to it, or you're worried about it the whole time. And so there's hardly any way you could start out feeling worried about something coming up and get better and better and more confident as you get closer to that note. Ishan Tiku, hi, nice to have you here. Isan. Ink says, hi Chuck, is it true that when you break, that where you break doesn't determine your passaggio? It's situational, Ink. It depends. It depends on where you break, actually. People can break in places other than their passaggio, and for other reasons, for many different reasons. Some people have told me your voice can break at a certain tone because of tension, and not because of the passaggio. Well, I don't know what they mean by that, but I don't usually have tension down low. That never happens, I never crack because I have tension in my voice, because there's no tension down here. Ah. My tension always builds as I go towards the bridge. And my students that I've taught, their tension seems to build as they go to the bridge. As they go away from the bridge, the tension decreases. So in my experience, most of the time, a break or strain or tension it coincides with the approach or being close to either a little past or a little before or right in the bridge. Interestingly enough, it seems to get easier when you go past the first bridge. It just seems to, there's less tension, there's more release, there's more freedom. And so I don't really see that in my experience, typically speaking. So you guys, let's talk a little bit about this. You heard my story. I've been there and I've done that. I do great in the exercises and get to the song and I start feeling strain. I start feeling the reach. I could tell my words have kind of splatted, or the vowels in the words have kind of spread. I start feeling like I can tell I'm flat on some high notes. I feel like I'm having to. My confidence is eroding as I'm doing it, and suddenly I realize that I'm in trouble. So that's happened to me. So let's talk about this. Why the question I keep getting is, why can't I sing a song? I can do the exercises, but why can't I do the song as well as I can do the exercises? So here's why it happens. You ready? You guys probably can guess this. It's because in the exercises, the vowel and the consonant are either consistent. There's only one of them, like gee 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 gee. One consonant, one vowel. Even though the pitches have changed, the consonant and vowel remain the same. That makes it easier to do the exercises. Generally speaking, that's why the exercises are easier to do than a song. Because in a song, you have constant changing of the vowel, constant changing of a consonant. So with that constant switching of consonant and vowel from word to word to word, coupled with different pitches, some jumping up, some coming down low, some small skips, some large skips, all of those things happening at once, suddenly the song is very, very different than the exercise. And invariably, and like in a pop song, the chorus and the bridge, they often will go and take you into the bridge of your voice. And so, together with all of these things combined, the song just becomes enormously harder to do because of the constant changing of the consonant and the vowel, together with the pitch, together combined with big skips and so forth. Hey George, nice to have you here today. Thanks for joining. Son says, what does bending the vowel mean? I haven't heard that term before, Ishan. I have heard of modifying the vowel, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I've never heard of bending a vowel, so I can't answer that. Don't know. Okay, now, so the description I've just given to you and the reasons why this gets hard to do when you're singing. Can anybody relate to that or verify that that seems to be happening with you as well? When you get into the song, because of the different vowels and the consonant combinations in the words and how it's changing from word to word to word and pitch to pitch and so forth, does that seem to throw a little bit of a wrench into the vocal machinery? Yeah, sorry, I meant the same. What does bending? Oh, okay. So you meant modifying. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Great question. So, okay, let's talk about what has to happen here in order for us to solve this problem. Okay, so Lao Kitopi says, yes, I am going through it. This is not an isolated or uncommon event. Now, it's true that the more you do the exercises, the more you're able to transfer that into your songs. So there comes a time with experience and practice and so forth that it gets easier to make that transition. But let me tell you, there are always going to be words that are going to cause problems. And again, we'll get to that in a second. The second issue I want to talk about here. So folks, this is not a simple, let me show you how you do it. You do it like this. It's not that simple. However, it is straightforward. It's not necessarily even difficult to do. So I could say it is easy, but there are steps that have to be followed. And they're pretty easy steps. So number one, you need to know where your bridge is. So men, do you know where your first bridge is? You should be able to say, yeah, it's here, bum, bum, bum. Ladies, do you know where your bridge is? Yeah, my bridge is no, 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 no. You've got to know that. If this is a mystery to you, you are always going to struggle in the songs, period. So men, you need to know that your first bridge, now this is for the tenors and basses, baritones, and many basses, not the basso profondo or the basso cantata, but many basses that sing bass in school and so forth. Your first bridge is going to be at E, F, F sharp above middle C. That means that as you get to middle C, then you get to the D flat, the D, oh my gosh, you start to feel like something horrible is going to happen. D, E flat, and then finally you hit that E, and now there is a vibration that's splitting off into your head, and it's also down lower in the neck and so forth. So you've got this split vibration going, and when we get to the bridge in the voice, and then add to that feeling of, well, now I've got different vowel to sing there, multiple different vowels, and maybe not just there, but before it, and maybe after it. Maybe it's going to go above the bridge too, and right in there. We've got all these things coming at us, and let me tell you, it throws you. I'm going to move this way because I'm getting tired of bending that way. So, you've got to know where the bridge is. Why? Because when you sing a song, if you've got the music, you can look right at the music and you can see it. Uh-oh, that note is right smack dab. That's the F above middle C, the F4, and that's right smack dab in the middle of my bridge, and it is on a open vowel, which we'll talk about in a minute. You know you're going to have trouble. I was talking with some members of Singers Impact, which is my membership group, and several of the members of Singers Impact had commented that when they sing their church hymns, and I've experienced exactly the same thing. It seems like at church they seem to pitch these songs at the top of chest and just about like on the edge or maybe one note into the bridge. And so as a result, as you're singing along, you keep getting these words that splat and your voice starts cracking, and those what you would think would be simple songs to sing end up being some of the most challenging, because where they're pitched right there at the top of chest and in the first bridge. Well, I know that because I know where my bridge is, and I can look at the music. So this is the second thing. You've got to learn to read the notes for music. In other words, you need to know on a musical staff, gentlemen, you need to be able to see that when you recognize the E, the F, and the F sharp in the treble clef, so that when you see it, you recognize it and say, oh, that's in my bridge. Ladies, you need to be able to do the same. Where's your bridge? For most sopranos, mezzo sopranos, and many, if not most, altos, with the exception of the true low contralto, the ones that can go down to the low D, the low D flat, the low C, the low B. Your bridge is is A above middle C, B flat, B, C, C sharp. So if you see any, so you got to learn to read music, or at least recognize your notes, and so that when you look at the treble clef and you're going along and looking at the notes, you're going to say, ah, that one's right, that's on the B, on the B4, right above middle C, right next to the octave C, above C5, so that right next to C5 is B4. I see that, and that's right in my bridge, and it's on a word that, like love, and it's going to be hard to sing that. So you circle it. So what I'm saying is you've got to know where your bridge is, and you have to be able to look at the music and recognize which notes are in your bridge. That way you can make a mental note, or you can circle it with a pencil or something. Now I know that many of us are learning music with karaoke tracks, minus tracks, and we're listening to recordings and then learning them on the track. And so you don't have the music in front of you. And it doesn't make sense to go buy every piece of music that you're learning. Nevertheless, you can feel, you can sing the song and find it on a keyboard, match it, and say, so the phrase is, troubled waters. I don't know what the key is in the original key. Like a bridge. That's well, now I'm illustrating. If you're a female and you're singing that song, that lands right in B, right on B that I talked about. And the word like is a very open vowel. Like a, so you right away I've got to look out for that. It's right in the bridge, it's on a very open vowel, and if you're singing the song, you can go to the piano and find you find that note on the piano, on a keyboard. Even if you can't play the piano, you can still find the pitch, and you should at least know what the notes are. That way you can tell, you can look at, okay, that's the pitch. I don't know what it is. Well, you should know. Well, that's the B. Even if you can't play the keyboard or read music, like, read the hymns or sit down and play. I can't either. But I can play well enough and recognize music well enough that I know what notes in music are in my songs are in the bridge. You got to know that. Otherwise, you will always struggle with this. Okay? Let me take a couple of questions here. Horizon says, most times when I try to sing in mixed voice, it sounds completely different from my chest. And the timbre of my voice goes really weird, but also it connects to my chest. Okay. That's really common, especially at the beginning when we're first developing our mix. And it takes a while. It takes a while to get that to fill in. Unless you just start pulling chest again and then it never corrects. But if you stay with it, in time, it'll start to fill in. I'll give you some ideas on that in a second, Horizon. We'll come back to that. Hey, Atu, nice to have you here. Thanks. What is the difference between the break and the Passaggio? You know, Atu, that's a good question. A lot of people will say, "Oh, you know, that song is right in my break," and they're referring to the Passaggio. They're talking about their bridge, and they just say, "Well, it's in my break." I've heard that a lot. Yeah, that song takes me right into my break. Well, that's the Passaggio. That's but that's not an official name for it. But it's referred to as the break area a lot mainly by singers they're not necessarily professional musicians or something, and they're not teachers, but they'll refer to that area as the break because they don't know to call it a Passaggio or the bridge. But yeah. Horizons of the Contemporary call it break, and bel canto call it Passaggio. That's probably true. That's probably pretty close to it. All right, so let's talk about this third topic here. We've talked about why it happens. We've talked about one reason, one thing we can do to help us correct this, and that is I guess there's two things in one. You got to know where the bridges are in your voice, and you really need to know music well enough that you can look at music and know that's in your bridge, or find it on the keyboard and say, "Oh, that's the B, and yes, that's in my bridge." So you need to know enough about pitches and the music, and then where your bridges are, so you can identify the problem. Now, on a third level in that category, let's just say that you're lazy, you don't want to learn music. Well, how do you identify that note? You identify the note by the fact that it's splatting, it's raising the larynx, you're straining on it, you're going flat. So guess what? It's either in the bridge, or it's just before the bridge, or it's above the bridge into head voice, and close, and maybe fairly close to the actual bridges. So you know it's a problem. So you've got to do something about it. Maybe you don't know the note, maybe you don't know, you even know your bridges, but you know you've got to do something about it. That presupposes that you've developed your ear well enough to know you're even in trouble, that the cow is out of the barn, so to speak. Okay, so point number 3. We need to learn how to deal with vowels. We need to learn how to narrow vowels. So the idea behind narrowing a vowel is maybe the easiest way to explain it is just when we speak and we say the word love, we say love, love. But a lot of times when we sing love, I sang something in high school called Metaphor. It's from the show The Fantastics. It's a duet, and the very ending of it is love, love, and it's either ends on that note or really close to it. That's the D above middle C. When I was in high school, I sang it like love. I know I was spreading because I was reaching. It's right next to the bridge. It just killed me. It was so fun to sing, and I'm so glad I got to sing it. And my duet partner was amazing singer, and we had a great time singing it. But it was hard, and I'm sure I spread that vowel. So vowels near the bridge tend to open or to spread. Instead of saying love, I said love. I started opening the vowel, and so I think I thought that would help me. We tend to spread the vowels if we don't know how to bridge, number one, and we tend to spread the vowels that are close to the bridge. Because down here it's love, no big deal. Love. But before we learn how to do this, it's just so easy to spread that vowel. We don't talk that way. Yes, I'm in lav. Lav. So the idea behind narrowing a vowel is to narrow it down. So instead of saying love, I say maybe. Love. But it's only so that when I'm in the bridge, or approaching the bridge, or maybe in head voice, or close to the bridge, above the bridge, instead of it spreading to something that I would never use in speech, by narrowing it, it may continue to open a little bit, but it's going to open to where I normally would speak it anyway. So in other words, we're just trying to keep it sounding like we talk. So by narrowing it a little bit, it's going to help us not to spread that vowel so wide that we lose the vowel. It becomes some kind of word that we don't ever use. Lav. I think lav is supposed to be like a bathroom in the UK or something. But does that make sense? So I would take love, and I would say love. Well, that's narrowing a vowel. So we take, if I were to say my, or hi, or what's a very common word in a song? It seems like there's a lot of try and sky, and if I said sky, I'm spreading I. And so in that case, I would take I is a little bit of a challenge, and so I found that a UH sound does really well there. I. So I could say UH and put an IE right on the end of it. Truck! Try! All I have to do is I can say TRUH, truck! And if I say K, it sounds like truck. If I say IE, it sounds like try. Truck! Try! So that UH is really, really powerful in terms of I sounds, whether it's I, the pronoun I, me, or whether it's try, or by, or my, or sky, or any of those sounding vowels. You can say hi and have it come out high. But if I don't narrow that, it's going to come out hi, spreads, going horizontal and splatting and like slapping everybody's ears. So that's the concept of narrowing. We narrow it slightly so that when we sing it, it's normal sounding, like we talk. Okay, that's the idea of narrowing. And there's a whole system of narrowing. And let me tell you right now, in the description below, I've put something that says free PDF, vowel modifying hacks. And so I've got a list of the vowels that give us problems and what you narrow it to fix it. Okay? Now, why does that make a difference? Why does narrowing a vowel make a difference? Because by keeping the vowel slightly narrowed or slightly closed, we prevent that spread, that open horizontal wide sound, which splats, which pulls the larynx up and starts pulling the chest voice up. That's one reason why we do it. The second reason is because if we keep that vowel in the correct configuration and keep it pure, then we also can stay in mix. Listen. Ah. Let me just take, I'll start it out by spreading it. Ah. Now I'm going to close it. That's opening the vowel too wide, but by just narrowing it, can you hear that I can get into a mix there? You can hear there's some chest and there's some head that that is a part of that mixed tone there. And but if I lose the vowel so that it opens and then splats, what do you hear? You only hear chest. And so I end up pulling chest, the larynx comes up, and it's not, a lot of people sing that way. I don't teach that. I teach the mix because it's better for the voice. You won't get nodules, you won't hemorrhage the vocal cords, you won't have the hoarseness come into your voice that happens with people who are doing that all the time professionally. And then you have some really terrific singing, and you increase the life of your voice by about 50 years. So let me back up here. Lots of comments going on. Hey, the bridge break means falsetto, and passaggio means bridge. It just kind of, everybody's kind of got different, depends on who your teacher is really, but the passaggio in the voice generally means that bridge, and that's where the transition from your chest to your head occurs. And then in subsequent bridges, the mix there in the bridge is the lower register mixes with the higher register, and so it goes on up in multiple bridges. Can to recall it? Okay. Lauki Topi says, I'm a beginner, can't even sing a pitch after doing 2 months of exercises. It's like it's squeezing. That's a tough situation, Lau, but keep after it. You'll get it. Ink says, when I do mums exercises, they're connected to my chest, but when I get above the break, my tone sounds, it's 80% head and a bit of chest, and it also crackles and isn't stable. So when I get above the break, so that's probably what you should be experiencing as far as when you get above the break, you're actually going into head voice. So it probably should be more like 100% head voice without chest in it, above your bridge, above the passaggio. And if you're in 100% head voice, you probably won't have the crackle and the instability. There's still a little bit of pull going on. The larynx is still coming up. Lucas, hey, nice to have you here, Lucas. Nice to see you. I need to fix my mixed voice. Sounds artificial, not falsetto, but strange. When lay people listen, they think it's strange, and they ask to sing my true voice. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that, Lucas, because I'm going to address that. Someone else asked something similar. How can I strengthen my mix there because it sounds too light? So the bridge says, so do we narrow the vowel to enhance head resonance? That's a byproduct of it, Altu. I don't think that, I've never been told, and I've never thought myself that I want to narrow a vowel to enhance a sound. I just want to narrow the vowel so that it sounds like I'm the way I would speak it, and so that I maintain a blend of chest and head, wherever I'm at. Or maybe it's just I maintain my head voice, because I may be in my head. Or I'm approaching the bridge below, and I want to start a little bit of head to come in. So in that situation, yes, down below, I may want to start having some head coming in even before the bridge, so that as I get to my bridge, it's a little bit easier. So, good point, Altu. So I would say yes in that situation. But I'm not necessarily doing it because I want head resonance as much as I want to get through into the bridge and on through the bridge. So maybe that's a way to think of it. I don't think of it necessarily as doing something to get a certain kind of resonance. I think of doing it so I can maintain the balance of the air and the muscle of my vocal cord, and be able to go through there evenly. Addie A says, "Hey, could you maybe give an example of the Vae and Ave Maria?" So if I said, I'm not sure about the Vae, but if I said, Ave, so yeah, so if I said, Ave, I need to narrow that. So to is the first step. Ave. Now if I said Vae as like that, I need to narrow that A to kind of a instead of an A sound, it'd be more like an EY sound. E. Ave, instead of Ave, Ave Maria. And if I spread the vowel, that's singing it pretty high. That's starting on the F, but it puts me right in that bridge area. Doug, do vowels modify automatically, or do you have to think it? Now, some can modify automatically, such as like because every vowel has a little bit of a in it. So if I say it's got a little bit of but it tends to, because of the inclusion of the head resonance, it tends to tends to go to the sound by itself. But in the most part, you guys, you've got to take the offending vowel and modify it to the next vowel, next narrow vowel. And I think I got diverted on this. In the description below, there's a PDF said vowel modifying hacks. You could download, and it's got all of this in it, so that you've got it, and you should post it. You should put it on your computer, or stick it to the keyboard, or put it on the back of your guitar, or whatever you need to do, and memorize it. Life gets so much easier when you do, in terms of singing songs. Altu says your narrowing demonstrations sound like Pavarotti discovered voice. I wish it was that good, Altu. Mr. Shaw says, "Hi, sir. I'm watching you after a year. Thanks, but I never disconnected with your exercises." Oh, you haven't been for a year. Well, nice to have you back, and I hope that they've helped. I'm thankful. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. That's very kind of you. Subia, hooray! Subia, now we can start. You've been here a while, though, I think. Nice to have you with us, Subia. Subius, dang, this is an important topic. I'm late. But you know what? It's going to be on there. You can watch it as soon as, we're done. It'll be available on YouTube. So Mr. Shaw says, please recommend a voice me a lesson regarding stretching voice without pain in throat. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes we get this idea that if we just stretch it, we're gonna increase our range. It isn't really about stretching. I mean, there's some exercises we want to do. Yeah, we want to go to a slight bit of extremity in the voice, just to kind of like stretching our own muscles. You know, we want to stretch them out and open and so forth, but we don't increase our range by stretching necessarily. People get that idea that if I just keep banging hard enough, bang, bang, bang on the top, I can get another half. No, it's really about this bridge. And so as soon as I learn how to get to the bridge and narrow that vowel, if I said let me say it on what happens if you don't know what to do? You sing and then it breaks. I go a little towards the oo. Hear the oo and an That just bought me a couple notes there. It wasn't anything about stretching. It's about being able to get to the bridge by narrowing that vowel. That's the high A, and you could hear I've got plenty more there. It wasn't about stretching. It was about bridging. And that's the key, Mr. Shaw. And so, again, this is a perfect topic for you. You want to get this PDF because it'll show you how to narrow those vowels. O goes to O to O. Well, sorry. You can hear it. O, O. It's a diphthong, two sounds, O. Just go a little towards that oo, and that's going to help it. Matthew Barrett says, oh gosh, I got to wrap this up here, guys. Sorry. Hello, Chuck. I read about oo lips or pucker lips and how it helps to narrow. I find that it works with my style. Do you use it? Yes. Matthew makes a good point here, and that is, especially at first, you guys, you can use this as a help, an assist. So if I said oh, but I did it with oo lips, that's a way to kind of give myself a help. It's like putting training wheels on my bicycle. It's going to help me feel that narrowing. Or I could do it on E with oo lips. Good question, Matt, and thanks for bringing that up. Addie A says, perfect. That's exactly what I need to know. Thank you. You're welcome. After 15 years. Yeah, right. Sylvia says, can you show how to transition into mixed voice, like by doing mum exercise? That does that buzzing feeling on the nose and pharyngeal muscle indicates that we are in our mixed voice. So if I were to say, if I let that open or let that spread, I'm just staying in chest. If I said so even if I'm saying just I'm narrowing the sound slightly to the meaning like buck, give me a buck, or a deer buck. To like good. So I said It's almost, if I just focus on the vowel, Subia, it will allow the vibration to go in the right place. it will allow a split vibration so that there's some chest and head in it. Until I get up to my, until I get to the point where it's just head voice. So for me, it would be here. For the ladies, ma, 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 if I don't narrow that vowel from a to then I'm going to splat it, pull the chest up, but just by narrowing it. So somebody said to me one time, the vowel is the Holy Grail. I think there's a lot of truth in that. Very, very powerful stuff I'm showing you. Hey, Ponder, nice to have you here. Oh, you're Nicholas. Well, Nicholas, nice to have you here. How much compression does the voice need to get through passages? It needs some friendly compression, Nicholas. And Mr. Riggs, Seth Riggs, talks about this. He talks about there has to be compression. There has to be friendly compression, but it can't be over tight and it can't be exceptionally loose. So it's that right in the middle, that Goldilocks, the ideal, the just right compression, and that's found by doing the exercises and eventually finding that middle place of balance. So you need just enough, Nicholas, to maintain the connection. If I said E, E, and I went into falsetto, that's not enough. That's all I need. I don't need it to be loud. I just need it to be that friendly compression, friendly enough to keep the connected tone. Really good question. George asks, can you use the same modification of the vowels on consonants at the end of a word? The consonants don't. This is only a vowel issue. This is only a vowel. This only used with vowels, George. We don't use it on any of the consonants. Probably because we sing on vowel. Hey, ow. But if I did B, or B, S, D, V, G. I don't really produce any tone on the consonants, but I do produce tone on the vowel, and that's what allows the vibration and the resonance to do its thing. And so it's mainly a vowel issue. Interesting and good question. Subia says, so it's just modifying vowels, right? Yep. Thanks, you guys. I got to wrap this up here. So go in the description below. When this video is over, go to the description below, and it'll be vowel modifying hacks. Now look, this is a blog post. Scroll down. There's a big red button. You click on that, and it will bring you to, you put your email in, and it will send it to your email address, okay? And then you'll have it. And I would put it on, I'd make multiple copies, carry it with you, memorize it, and you're gonna find this is gonna help you a lot. Thanks, you guys. Awesome being with you. It was some tremendously good questions. Oh, there's one other thing here I need to talk about. Lucas asked me this, and I think it was maybe Meredith or Horizon. I'm sorry, I can't remember who. But yeah, so Horizon says, my voice goes really weird but in between chest. When it's in mixed voice, it sounds completely different from my chest. So here's the problem. What have we done all our lives when we hit the bridge? We sing it in chest, or we yell it in chest, or we blast it in chest. If you're a really good singer, you sing it in chest, it sounds pretty good. I know Lucas is that. He's a great singer, and so he can sing it in chest, and it sounds pretty good. But it might be a little pitchy once in a while. It might go a little flat, or it might start to kind of make him a little hoarse after an evening of it. Or it might start to hurt a little bit, So there are reasons why we we don't want to do it. So we want to find a way to mix that. But as you're saying, it sounds different. Why does it sound different? It's because we never practice it perfectly, long enough to develop it. Because we're in a hurry. We got to sing tonight. We got to sing tomorrow night. Oh well, I'll just do it in chest. And so, but then if we try to do it in our mix, it's lighter, it's weaker at first, because it's new, and we're trying to learn a new skill. We're trying to develop something we've never done before. So sometimes it just takes some time. So here's an exercise that might help you. I would say try it like this and say good, 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 good. Start out with good, like good. Good, 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 good. Start it on the E, F, F sharp. Good, 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 good. Good, 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 good. Good, 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 good. Good, 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 good. Now, if with that g sound, it's going to get you a little bit deeper into the vocal cords. The is somewhat narrow. In fact, you could probably start it on goo if you wanted to, or go. Go, 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 go. But it still helps to kind of solidify that. The next step would be go from g, like good, to g. Like, what would that sound like? Nah. Buck again. Only with a G. G, 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 g. G, 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 g. Now be careful. Don't pull it. Don't spread the vowel. G, 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 g. Don't want to do that. G, 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 g. G, 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 g. Keep working that middle. Go up and down multiple times. Do it on the 5-tone. G, 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 g. Now, if you have trouble with that, put a G on the end of it. G, 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 g. G, 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 g. G, 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 g. Then take it into the song. Whatever the song is, do it that way. Gug, 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 gug. So do the exercise in the song and see if you can't get to feel a little bit more solid, more firm, more secure, and you're getting a little deeper into the vocal cords, and see if that doesn't lead you to being able, then change it. So, na 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 na. Okay, so that's a couple things that you could try to do to see if you can't get that middle area there to firm up a little bit. Thanks, you guys. I got to run. We've been going now for 58 minutes, so almost an hour broadcast, but this is a really, really good one and important to help you transition from singing exercises to singing songs. Thanks. Love you all. This is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live. Remember, you can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next one. Bye-bye.